To our friends in the restaurant industry, we're with you. Now is the time to lean on one another for support while we navigate these difficult circumstances together. I invite you to take a break from the stress and worry we're all experiencing and enjoy this new episode of Check Please Bay Area, recorded earlier this year.
It was like a quinceañera happening in my mouth. It was lit.
The ceramics are just gorgeous.
It was spot on. They steal the show every single time.
It was like smooth jazz on the palate. I was enjoying it.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by
At Redwood Credit Union, we help people achieve their financial goals together, offering customized full-service personal and business banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Redwood Credit Union.
Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 9 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. The Bay Area airport that's close and reliable. iFlyOAK.com.
It's the national recognition for healthcare equality. It's 1,000 things, big and small. Sutter Health.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sbrocco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests and each one recommends one of their favorite spots and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. This week, pastry chef Aggie will share her beloved Mission District eatery that takes the art of matcha and matcha-inspired pastry to a new level. And food writer Shawn Walker-Smith lives, eats, and bakes in the East Bay. Sharing his passion, he encourages people to support locally owned small businesses in Oakland. But first, social media influencer Darion Frazier, who loves to share Bay Area culinary scene content with his followers, takes us to one of his recent finds. It's a sideways Southern bar and restaurant in Hayward called PLāYT.
We have traditional Southern dishes, and I'm going to say that it's not just soul food for us, it's Southern cuisine. We're a combination of soul food, American food, Southern food.
The best part of Southern cuisine would have to be the comfortable feel of food. I've been doing this for 35 years. My family, who is from Lumberton, North Carolina, they taught me over the years. And one of the things I found that was very easy in the way I would prepare food was how my grandmother would do it, how my aunts, grand-aunts, and uncles would do it. So I've tried to incorporate that feeling into all of the dishes that I do. So although I have upscale training and all, I always go back to my roots as far as having very simple, very easy, flavorful dishes, but still using classic techniques.
It's elevated dining, but it's not snooty. It's real approachable and real comfortable. And what makes us really different is the ambiance of the place, the outside patio, the vibe that's in here, and that I will not let you leave here without feeling like you got a hug.
All right, Darion, how did you find this restaurant?
I just slipped on a banana peel. I was driving down the street. I wanted to try something different. Yeah. So went in. It was amazing. It was amazing.
What did you have?
So for the appetizers, I got the sweet and spicy barbecue ribs. That was so pleasant. Like as soon as I took the first bite, it was like pulling blankets off of bed. The meat came smooth off the bone. I was like, ooh wee, this was the one. It was juicy. It was nice and tender. And then the way the flavor just danced around on the palate was just next level. I was just gone away off that bite of them ribs for the appetizers. Should I go on to the next part of the meal?
Well, let's hang tight, because I want to get, because when you start talking about those blankets coming off the bed, I'm like, yeah, I want to hear more over here. But I want to get to Shawn. Shawn, what was your experience at PLāYT?
It was really welcoming. When we first entered, they were immediately on it. It's like, hello, welcome. And you felt like, this isn't my first time here, that I've been here before, that you're actually part of their family, part of the neighborhood, and that was really nice. We started with the mussels, and usually with mussels it comes in a broth, but this was a white sauce. That was amazing. We ordered extra bread. I probably went through more bread than I should have just to get the sauce on these mussels. The flavor was really good, and that's like the hallmark of everything that we had. It was just full of flavor.
What was your experience, Aggie?
Yeah, the ambiance was really nice inside. You can tell they're shooting for kind of like an upscale vibe for everyone. I started with the fried green tomatoes, which to me is like very Southern. And a lot of times, you know, you get the crispy outside breading that kind of falls off the tomato, but this stayed on really nicely. It was really crisp, crunchy, and then the sauce with it had like a nice kick to it too, which I always like a little extra spice in my food.
All right, now you can go and tell me. So you had appetizer.
You know, the appetizer was the first date, and then, you know, the second half was that that entree. You know, the second date. So what I got was the braised short ribs over grits. I ain't never in my life heard catfish and grits, but this was something else. This was next level. Because before anything is acceptable, it got to be presentable, and that presentation was just right there. Right there, I was already like blown away. Socks flew right off the feet.
Blankets are gone. You got no socks.
So the meat on the short ribs was like very juicy. It was tender. As soon as I took my fork and I slid it down, it was effortless. Like the meat just came apart. Then I went in there, got the grits with the short ribs, and it has like some barbecue sauce on it, and it was like some shaved carrots to give it like an extra crunch on top of that. And it was like smooth jazz on the palate.
Hey.
I was enjoying it. I was enjoying that.
What was singing to you?
We had the blue crab and Delta shrimp ravioli. And it was this tender ravioli with the crab and the shrimp, which you could taste, but it wasn't overpowering. And it was a tomato-based sauce that was so balanced with all of the different flavors. Full of flavor is my phrase for PLāYT. Everything we had a ton of flavor, and that would be something I would go back for again and again. It's also presentation. It comes out to you, and that looks lovely. That looks like something I want to eat.
Aggie, you know, what was your experience with the entrees?
We also got the short rib as well, and we also had the fried chicken. And the fried chicken came with like a little cast iron of macaroni and cheese, which is nice because it keeps it, you know, warm.
You can't breathe over here.
Yeah, but the flavor was great on both dishes, especially with the mac and cheese. They used a smoked Gouda, which I thought was a really nice touch because you kind of get that like sharpness, but also that smokiness that you wouldn't necessarily have from like a traditional mac and
Darion's
cheese.
over here going, I gotta talk about the mac and cheese. I gotta talk about it. What was it about it?
I don't know who grandma was in the back there making that mac and cheese, but somebody grandma back there making that mac and cheese. When it came out, like you said, in the cast iron skillet, and as soon as you stick your fork in and you pull up, you just see nothing but beautiful cheesy. Yeah, that's my favorite part. Yes, that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. I'm done.
What else did your group have that you shared?
Well, we of the savory we did that, and then we moved into the dessert part. We had the bread pudding. It came out nice and warm, and it was moist, and just, again, flavorful. It's my favorite word with them. It's just full of flavor and comforting. I'm thinking about it going, this is a special trip just for the bread pudding. Just for that.
And what about you in terms of desserts, Aggie?
I mean, I was so full by the end of our meal, and we had also had a few glasses of wine with our meal, so I actually didn't have room for dessert. But
Aggie drank her dessert. Did you have dessert or drinks?
Oh, I had some drinks. So I did have the Manhattan. The Manhattan was a nice, beautiful, succulent drink.
It's a boozy drink.
Oh my God. All I know is, you know, I left barefooted. My socks just flew right off my feet.
Gone. Blankets on the floor,
I was so
socks.
blown away, and I'm just being honest with you, but the Manhattan was a beautiful, great drink.
I had a sidecar, and it was spot on. I'm real picky about sidecars. I've drunk them for a long time. And the bartender was really great. He just hooked it up, which was really cool. So that was nice.
Well, this is your spot. Darion, wrap it up for us.
PLāYT, Hayward, great service, great food, great ambience. Don't meet me there, beat me there.
All right, and Shawn?
If you're looking for a comforting meal, welcoming service, and food that's full of flavor, PLāYT is a good bet.
Okay, Aggie.
I would say that PLāYT is where you go for a nice, comforting Southern meal. but not grandma style.
Grandma style.
All right, if you would like to try PLāYT, it's located on B Street in Hayward. It's open for dinner every day. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $35. Shawn's spot is nestled inside the Fort Greene Sports Bar in Old Oakland. They offer a solid selection of pub grub as well as an eclectic menu of Mexican-influenced options. From fried chicken to street tacos, this is Chingones.
My name is Mayra Velasquez. I'm a part owner of Chingones. My other business partner's name is Tino Perez, and Chingones means badass. It means, for me and for my business partner, it means like we'll do what it takes to get our business going. We will wash dishes, we will bust tables, like there's nothing that we will not do. I went to culinary school, but he went to like Hard Knocks Life. He grew up cooking. He grew up working at restaurants. So he's the one with the flavor, I would say. We were both born in Mexico, so a lot of the recipes that we have and the way we bring stuff to people, it's food that both Tino and I grew up eating. The meat that's on the nachos, it's a picadillo. That's something that I grew up eating as a kid. My mom would add potatoes to it. For us, it's comfort food. We don't use fancy plates. I grew up eating with my hands. When I eat the tacos, I use my hands. When I eat the fried chicken, I use my hands. It's food you feel comfortable with. It's food that is not bougie, I guess. I love Oakland. That's where we first started. This is where we want to be, and we're grateful to be in Old Oakland. Yeah.
All right, Chingones. Everybody say this word, Chingones.
Chingones.
I love it, right? This means badass.
Yeah, and the whole attitude of the place and the food there, that's definitely it. It's definitely Chingones. And they're not only at this location, but they're at First Fridays, they're at 3 locations. They're the hardest working people in Oakland,
Well,
I swear.
it started as a pop-up and still has pop-up locations, but this is kind of a permanent pop-up, right?
Yeah, it's more of a place to be able to land and actually have that first brick and mortar. So it's a really great concept to be able to do that.
And it is pub grub, but talk a little bit about the Mexican-influenced cuisine.
So they do street tacos. That's one of their things. There's a whole menu of different tacos. And usually if I go with a group of people, or even by myself, we'll order like one of each. They've got a trio you can order. My favorite one is the First Friday. This taco is just amazing. This wonderful succulent tortilla. They've got fresh chicken strips that are in there that are deep fried. There's a cortido, which is more like a coleslaw that's in there. Also a cream on that. So you get the crema and you've got the creaminess and then you've got the crunch and then you've got this fried chicken, which is perfect. This blows any fried chicken sandwich out of the park.
Right.
And it's really good. It's all just right there in this one little bite-sized morsel.
So it's not too far of a leap to go to chicken and waffles, right?
No, it's
They
not,
eat chicken and
which is a wonderful surprise. They steal the show every single time.
Did you have chicken and waffles?
I'm sorry, May. I love you. I wasn't a fan of the chicken and waffles.
Oh, okay, that's good. You can tell us.
Only the chicken was great. It was juicy. It was perfectly fried. What I didn't like was the waffle. Like it had a pizza dough taste, and I really felt like I love pizza, but not when I'm trying to eat chicken and waffles.
I love the chicken and waffles.
I'm sorry.
No. That's okay, because I think the waffle is the thing that's divisive for people. You can either do traditional waffle, which you expect, which is kind of not my thing, because I want it to be nice and fluffy, and it never is, and it always disappoints me. Whereas this one, it's fluffy. There's definitely some yeast involved. There's got to be some egg white in it. So it does have a bit more chewiness to it. And you've got more of a flavor. So something that you would experience with pizza dough. And I like that about it. And especially pairing that with their house-made syrup. They take the syrup and I don't think I can give away too many things about what's in it, but there's got to be like some piloncillo sugar in there with maybe a little cinnamon. And that's my happy place. Every time I've taken somebody there, we order at least a 4 or an 8 piece of the chicken and waffles.
Did you have something else besides that?
I had that First Friday taco is what I did.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just an honest guy. I love that taco.
That's what
that
this show's
taco
about.
was good. It was juicy, like you said, the fried chicken. It had like a creamy sauce, the salsa, the chicken, the flour tortilla. It was like a quinceañera happening in my mouth. It was lit. It was popping. I loved it.
I can't get that image out of my head now. I can see it happening in your mind. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be with all of us for a while.
All right, Aggie, what did you have when you went?
So we had some wings, and then we also had the nachos, which they make the chips in-house, and you can really tell because they have that nice kind of crunch to them, and they hold up really well to the sauce that they kind of toss it in, which I thought was a really cool way to do nachos. It kind of mimics the chilaquiles style, and so they get tossed in the sauce and then topped with all the different types of toppings. It was delicious.
Did you have anything else?
We also had all the street tacos. We got like the 3 kind of taco mix, so we were able to get all of them. And the standouts for me were the carne asada and the chicken. The chicken was so flavorful. Again, it was definitely marinated in like a lot of spices and kind of had that smoky char flavor, which was nice. And same with the steak. I'm not a huge lover of tacos in general, because a lot of times you just have like different types of meats, but then all the toppings are the same no matter what the filling is. But everything was very tailored for each different type of taco, which I thought was really cool. So it was like a plated meal in each little taco.
Right.
I also had some of them wings. Them Fort Greene honey wings. So good. Like, I took that bite. It's kind of sweet at the beginning, and then you keep chewing, and then right behind the sweetness is that flavor. It's like, hey, I'm sweet, but I also, you know what I'm saying, got some attitude right behind it. So I want to thank you for putting me on for that spot. Yeah, that was good. And I'm actually from Oakland, and I ain't never been to that place.
Right. Did you have anything else? Any libations that were part of this?
I think I had like a peach margarita, which was very refreshing and delicious. Everything paired nicely with the food. I don't know, it just feels like you're going into like a pub or like a fun like gathering space, like almost like Cheers like, but then the food is just
elevated.
Right, and that's what keeps bringing people back, I'm sure.
All right, this is your spot. Shawn, wrap it up for us.
So if you're looking for a great neighborhood spot with bar food done right, Chingones is a good bet.
All right, and Aggie?
I would say that Chingones is where you go for a fun group of people to watch the game and have elevated bar food.
All right.
Chingones. I'm with it all the way. It's good food, cheap prices. Make sure you grab some drinks.
All right, if you would like to try Xingones, it's located at the corner of 8th and Washington in Old Oakland. It's open for lunch and dinner every day. Reservations are not accepted, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $20. Post your favorite food shots on Instagram at #BayAreaBites and have a chance to see your food pics on the show. Aggie's Mission District Eatery features Japanese pastries, matcha drinks, and artisanal ceramics. Her insider knowledge of the pastry world is strong praise for this clean and modern cafe. This is Stonemill Matcha.
We started out in San Francisco because we wanted to bring high quality matcha to the States. It's since become more of a Japanese California cafe where we serve refined comfort food, I would say. So our matcha is sourced from Japan, mainly from Kyoto. Matcha is a whole leaf, then it is ground in stone mills, as opposed to tea leaves, which are steeped and then you ingest the water.
My food comes from the heart. I cook with passion, and it brings a lot of nostalgia, a lot of comfort. My parents were chefs, and they cooked home comforting dishes all the time. Still keep on that tradition, using local ingredients and vegetables that inspire me from my past.
Matcha is high in vitamins, high in amino acids. It's a mood elevator. So it really does help people just relax when they come in. Grab a cup of matcha, grab your friends, and just hang out.
So matcha is really trending now. I think people are discovering this idea of a matcha culture and what matcha is. And talk about Stonemill Matcha, because it's an interesting place for both savory and sweet.
It is. So it used to be the old bar tartine space in the Mission, and I was just kind of walking by and needed to pick me up, and the space is kind of quiet looking from the outside. It's very clean and almost looks like a quiet oasis from like the bustling Mission neighborhood. They did a really good job with everyone who works there. They all wear these kind of like blue coats, and they like approach you and they're like, do you have any questions? Is there anything, you know, you want to know about like matcha? So you go up, it's counter service, but they take a lot of time to make each item properly, I think, and it's very detail oriented, which is kind of rare from like a normal cafe, I think. So the first time I went in, I just had a matcha latte, which is delicious and beautiful, and the ceramics are just gorgeous.
Those are so lovely.
Yeah, and they really do a great job of explaining this tea ceremonies that they do, and they have this counter in the back where they'll show you the traditional way of mixing the matcha and kind of whisking it with those bamboo bristled brushes. But the food is what actually keeps bringing me back. I am quite particular to the chicken okayu, which is this beautifully warm, comforting bowl of rice porridge that gets cooked with the chicken broth, and then they have pieces of tender thigh meat kind of mixed into it, and then there are all these little toppings. So there's like dried seaweed and sesame and scallions, and then they have this perfectly soft cooked egg right in the middle. So you get a bite with everything and kind of mix it all together, and you know, on the kind of chillier days in San Francisco, it's the perfect.
Did you go sweet, savory, or both?
I went for the savory.
So what did you order?
I got the chicken katsu. Like she said, they really take their time. When they came out, they had on white gloves, for God's sake. They was not playing no games. They came in, they brought my plate, and my chicken was like 90 degrees to the left. Everything was so perfect. I was just like, man, I don't even want to mess this up and dive in. But I did. I went in. The first thing I wanted to do was try that chicken. It was like golden, crispy to perfection. The chicken quality was amazing. It like I could tell. I mean, these chickens grew up with both their parents, because it was like it was next level chicken. It was so good. It was juicy, and that crunch, that golden crunch, was just like, ooh wee.
And what did you have to drink with that?
Drinks, I had the hochicha latte, and it was very good. It was very good. The thing what caught me off guard was that it did have a visuals of mud. It was kind of dark.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
So going in, you know, I kind of went in with bad expectations, but I was proven wrong once I took that sip. It was very good. It was very smooth. It was soothing. It gave me a strong matcha taste.
The drink that I loved was the sparkling matcha, and I added the passion fruit to it. I had 3 of those.
I usually get the yuzu, and it's so bright, it's delicious.
And we did both. We went savory and we went sweet. With the savory, what I loved actually was the dressing on the salad. I had a side salad with one of the sandwiches that I got, and that dressing, it was a yuzu dressing that was so bright and so fresh and really well balanced, and it showed the care that they take in everything that they do. Everything we had was just about that little bit of effort, that little bit of care that was in there.
Yeah. Let's talk about those pastries, because you walk in and see a counter full of cream.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they all have this level of finesse to them. So the cream puff is a great example. They actually have a base made out of puff pastry, so it's a little bit sturdier, and it's massive. And so it's great to share. Yeah. They fill them to order, so they stay nice and crisp on the outside, and then the inside is nice and creamy and soft and smooth and really fluffy and airy. It's beautiful.
I think our single favorite item, probably of everything we had, was the roulade. They had a hazelnut roulade at the time we were there, which is a really wonderful, light, spongy roll cake that has the swirl of the mousse in the center. So it had this hazelnut mousse, and it was just light and creamy, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I went back and got another one to take home.
So my absolute favorite is the souffle cheesecake. the texture of it is super light and airy and very uniform throughout, which is kind of difficult to achieve. And then they have just like a hint of citrus. It's just phenomenal. Like, I recommend it to everyone who goes there, and everyone loves it. They do a phenomenal job with it.
All right, this is your spot. Aggie, wrap it up for us.
So if you're down in the Mission and looking for a change of pace, Stonemill Matcha is the perfect bet for a serene oasis.
All right, and Darion.
Stonemill Matcha, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. It's a very calm, soothing place, very good food, very good lattes. I'm all for it.
And Shawn.
If you're looking for a nice place and a calm place to have a good bite to eat, made with care, and great pastries, Stonemill Matcha is the place to go.
If you would like to try Stonemill Matcha, it's located on Valencia off 16th in San Francisco. It's open for breakfast and lunch every day. Reservations are not accepted, and the average tab per person is around $25. I have to thank my fabulous guests on this week's show. Darion Frazier, who brought us to experience his hidden gem, PLāYT in Hayward. Shawn Walker-Smith, who treated us to one of his discoveries at Chingones in Oakland. And Aggie Chin, who shared the incredible pastries and shade-grown matcha at Stonemill Matcha in San Francisco. So join us next time when 3 more guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Cheers. And cheers to you. Did you have fun? Did you have fun? You were awesome. We really want to hear about your experiences at any of the restaurants we've been talking about. So keep in touch with us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And don't forget that you can watch any of the shows on our website at kqed.org/checkplease. It's where you'll find links to the restaurants and my notes on the wines we're drinking today. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by
Cooking is the first kind of love you know. It was starting when I was a child, with my grandmother doing fresh pasta, and now I transmit it to all the guests. It's something made especially for them.
Oceana Cruises, proud sponsor of Check Please Bay Area.
It's the national recognition for healthcare equality. It's 1,000 things, big and small. Sutter Health.
the Bay Area airport that's close and reliable. iFlyOAK.com. Total Wine & More offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More now with 9 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com.
At Redwood Credit Union, we help people achieve their financial goals together, offering customized full-service personal and business banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Redwood Credit Union.